I'm going to share the story with you about how the white buffalo calf woman brought the sacred pipe or chanupa to the people. There are many versions of this story. It's hard to say which one is the most accurate. If you'd like to learn more, please follow me on this channel, subscribe, and press that bell so you'll be notified. And you can even follow me on Patreon if you'd like more in-depth information. Thank you for watching. A holy woman brought the sacred pipe to the Lakota. Before she came, people didn't know the right way to live. The white buffalo calf woman put her sacred thoughts into the mind of the people. One summer long ago, the 7 sacred council fires of the Lakota Oyate, the Lakota people, came together and camped. There was no game, and the people were starving. Every day, scouts were sent to look for game, but nothing could be found. One morning, 2 young men went out again to look for something to hunt. Of course, they were on foot because this was before the horses were brought to North America. They searched everywhere, but could find nothing. They saw a hill and reasoned that they could see further if they were on top of the hill, so they began to climb it. About halfway up the hill, they saw something coming toward them from far off, but the figure was floating instead of walking. From this, they knew that it was a Wakan being, a holy being. At first, all they could make out was a slow-moving speck. As it came closer, they could tell it was a beautiful young woman, more beautiful than any they had ever seen. She had 2 round red dots of paint on her cheeks. She wore a marvelous white buckskin outfit, tanned until it shone a long way in the sun. It was embroidered with sacred designs of porcupine quill in radiant colors that no ordinary woman could have made. This sacred stranger was the white buffalo woman. In her hands, she carried a large bundle and a fan of sage leaves. She wore her blue-black hair loose, except for a strand at the left side, which was tied up in a buffalo fur. Her eyes shone dark and sparkling. They had great power in them. The 2 young men looked at her in awe. One desired her body. He stretched his hand out to touch her. This woman was very sacred and could not be treated with disrespect. Lightning instantly struck this brash young man. Only a small heap of blackened bones was left in his place. Some say that he was suddenly covered by a cloud, and that within it he was eaten up by snakes, just as a man can be eaten up by lust. To the other respectful scout, the woman said, "I'm bringing good and holy things to your people. Go back to your camp and tell the people to prepare. Put up a medicine lodge with 24 poles. It must be made holy for my coming." The young man returned to camp and told the people what the sacred woman requested. The people told each other, "A sacred woman is coming. Prepare for her." So they put up the big medicine teepee and waited. After 4 days, they saw the white buffalo calf woman approach, carrying her bundle. Her beautiful white dress shone in the distance. The chief invited her to enter the medicine lodge. When she entered, she circled the inside clockwise before sitting. The chief spoke, "Sister, we are very glad you have come to instruct us." She told him that in the center of the lodge they should put up a sacred altar made of red earth with a buffalo skull and a rack to hold the holy thing that she was bringing. They did as she directed. She then circled the lodge again sunwise. She stopped before the chief to open her bundle. The holy thing it contained was the chanupa, the sacred pipe. She held it out to the people and let them look at it. She was grasping the stem in her right hand and the bowl in her left. This is how it has been held ever since. The chief said, "We're very glad to see you here, sister. We haven't had any meat for quite some time. All we can give you is water." They dipped some sweetgrass into a skin bag of water and gave it to her. To this day, people dip sweetgrass or an eagle wing into water and sprinkle it on a person to purify them. The white buffalo woman showed the people how to use the pipe. She filled it with red willow bark tobacco. They walked around the lodge 4 times in the path of the sun. This represented the circle with no end, the sacred hoop, the road of life. As she lit the pipe, she explained that this represented the fire without end, the flame to be passed on from generation to generation. She told them that the smoke rising from the bowl was the Great Spirit's breath, the living breath of the great mystery. The white buffalo woman showed the people the right way to pray, the right words and gestures. She taught them how to sing the pipe-filling song and how to lift the pipe to the sky, to Grandfather Sun, and down to Grandmother Earth, and then to the 4 directions of the universe. The white buffalo calf woman said, "With this holy pipe, you will walk a living prayer. With your feet resting upon the earth and the pipe stem reaching into the sky, your body forms a living bridge between the sacred beneath and the sacred above. The Great Spirit smiles on us now because we are as one, the earth, sky, all living things, the 2-leggeds, the 4-leggeds, the winged ones, the trees, the grasses, the swimmers, together with the people. They are all related. One family. The pipe holds them all together." "Look at this bowl," she said. "Its stone represents the buffalo, but also the flesh and blood of the red man. The buffalo represents the universe and the 4 directions because he stands on 4 legs. His legs represent the 4 ages of creation. The buffalo was put in the west by the Great Spirit. He holds back the water. Every year he loses 1 hair, and in every one of the 4 ages he loses a leg. The sacred hoop will end when all the hair and all the legs of the great buffalo are gone, and the water will come back to cover the earth." The wood stem of this chanupa stands for all that grows on the earth. You are connected to all things of the universe. There are 7 circles on this sacred pipe. They stand for the 7 sacred ceremonies you will practice with this pipe. The white buffalo woman then spoke to the women. She told them that it was the work of their hands and the fruit of their bodies that kept the people alive. You are from Mother Earth. What you do is as great as what the warriors do. When a man takes a wife, they both hold the pipe at the same time, and a red cloth is wound around their hands. This ties them together symbolically. The white buffalo woman had many sacred things in her bundle. She taught them how to make fire in a sacred way. She filled a bag made of buffalo bladder with cold water and dropped a red-hot stone from the fire inside. This is how you will cook the corn and the meat. She also talked to the children. She told them that everything their parents did was for them. She said they could remember being young, and they wanted the children to live a good life. "One day, you will have children of your own," she said. "You are the next generation, and that's why you are the most important. You are all precious. Someday, you will hold this pipe and pray with it." She told the people that the pipe was alive. It shows you the good red road. You will use it on sacred occasions. She said the Lakota had been chosen to receive the pipe and all the sacred ceremonies for all the indigenous people of Turtle Island. She told them to respect the pipe, that it would take care of the people and show them the right way to live. She said she would come back one day. The people watched her walk away toward the setting sun. As she left, she stopped and rolled 4 times. The first time, she turned into a black buffalo. The second time, she turned into a brown one. After the third time, she turned into a red buffalo. And the last time, she turned into a white female buffalo calf. The white buffalo is the most sacred thing you could ever encounter. As soon as she left, large herds of buffalo appeared, allowing themselves to be killed to feed the people. The people have never forgotten the gifts of the white buffalo calf woman.